used for binding, right? The PBX ID is used for you need to record that for binding, and you need to enter in this page again. So in this part is the domain management. So the format should be domain name and the port number. So again, when there is a SIP message that is received from the from field, and the domain name is sent to the SBC with having this specified port, so it will shows that it will guarantee that it is a legitimate message. So here you can the domain name, you need to specify the domain name, IP address, and of course the port number. Then you can click OK. So here, as you can see, this is the PBX ID. Just you need to make sure that you're using the correct PBX ID sequence. So here, more on the domain management. You need to configure here the domain. So you can add domain name here. Then you can select the type. So you need to register that to PBX. You can do this is forward registration. So you can see here all the domains that has been added to the system. Okay, so here for the media configuration. So for example, the streaming media between the phone and the RSBC 10,000 is encoded with G722. The SBC can be converted to PCMU with the central office. So however, there are such limitations that only the IP phones are supported for the outbound calls, and but however, the incoming calls from the soft switches are not, not using those codec. So, for example, the configured codec is PCMU, and the soft switch is specified. So, if during the outbound call, the codec on the phone is using the G729, the phone and the SBC are coded with this codec G729. However, the SBC and the switch sheets are coded with PCMU. So now for regards to the incoming call, so if the switch incoming call carries this codec G729 and PCMU, so all the phone, the switch, and the SBC will use the G729. So the SBC will no longer use the PCMU, but only the G729. So that's the media configuration, and of course, you can add media codec here. Can add and disable the codecs as well. Then on the PBX page, you can also select the type of, the PBX ID and configure the template. So once you select that one number, and you can also do the media template. So again, you can set different media. You can enable and disable those medias you wish to include in this template. Okay, so here is how to add domain name and port mode binding. So here, this is example, right? When port 5061 received a SIP message with the domain name IP 192.168.110.50, it binds the central switch with PBX ID 1. So this is the map endpoint. So that's why I have mentioned a while ago that the PBX ID is very important, because you can simply add the endpoints here. So the corresponding sequence number. So to continue, when port 5061 receive a SIP message with the domain name 5061, this port, it binds the central office switch ID with PBX ID 1 as well. So this is with this only IP, and we have when 192 with this IP plus this port number, it will also binds us this map endpoints 1. So again, these map endpoints can be bound to multiple domains. So these domains can be carried by the SIP messages sent by the central soft switch itself. So you can define, one PBX ID or map endpoints to several domains. So for the peer-to-peer mode, this is an example environment. When there are, this is the operator IP. So there are two IMS, and we have the CMI gateway with this IP. There should be connected point to point through our SBC 10,000. And you need to set the IP of the RSBC 10,000 to this IP. And it should receive a call starting with this number. So +84, the prefix that it will be sent to this IP, which is the IMS, the BPIP 24H. And of course, if you receive a call starting with the colors 84, 24, don't have the plus sign, right? So it should be sent to the other IMS IP, that is VNCGV. And if it receive a call with having this prefixes +1 to +9, it should be sent to this IP address using the CMI gateway. So here is the configuration area. We can buy the SBC to the to the phone through the domain and port. Basically, we can configure two SIP ports. This is for interconnection with the terminal. So these are the example ports 5080 and 5060. Then we can establish caller ID by matching roles and route this to achieve the interconnection. So here is again we need to add the SIP listening ports 50 and 60. So you can go to the network, then need to select the protocol as you wish. So 5080 use the UDP and 5060 use the TLS. And add the corresponding platform. So here we can click add to the career group. Then yeah, you need to enter the group name, and of course you can select the registration type. Then after which you need to add the corresponding platform. So yeah, so you can add this all the platform that you wish to add. So you can add several platforms in regards to different careers. Then add these corresponding IP addresses. Then click OK to complete the addition of this career group. So after that, you need to add the relevant addresses, so that is corresponding to the outbound interface. So yeah, so here it is the career one. This is the in one group, but we can add several career ID 1, 2, 4, and of course we can select the interface for the this is the port number 50 for the career 1, 5060, 5080 for career 1 and 4. So then you can click OK. And after that, you can set the inbound roles configuration. So you can set the by matching role. So you can define the caller number priority. And of course, you can set the route priority as well. And we can do some matching number rule with regards to the code prefix that is sent to the corresponding platform. You can define here the route, the number rules. You can add several routes as this one. So as previously mentioned a while ago, that all those +1 prefixes to +9, it should go to the CMI gateway. So we're trying to configure like this. And this one is the +84 going to the first IMS number, the VIP 24H. And with regards to 8424 prefixes, it will go to this carrier PBX. So this is to set the matching number rule with regards to the code prefixes. Then go to options monitoring. This is to send options to the platform, and it needs to be configured to the PBX. So endpoints, go to the endpoints, then configure the corresponding host IP, and of course you can define here, make your own descriptions with how this group the details of these endpoints. And of course, you can select the port ID number. So yeah, a note is that at the top of the page, there is a message that will be displayed indicating that the PBX and the career groups have the same configuration. So this is, you need to take note of that. And of course, with regards to the backend configuration, we can do also. So as I've mentioned, we can either input to going to the web GUI using the um, monitor that's connected to the device, or you can access the background. So here is the options. You can do the options configurations. So go to this configuration path, then set the parameter, having this command ds underscore ping dash interval. So you can set this one. This shows that the ds ping interval 60. It means that the options message is sent every 60 seconds. Then after the modification to take effect, you need to set this command. This is to systemctl, then restart the Camelo. Okay. So for the load balancing mode, this is the example environment. So there is a carrier PBX that interconnects two of the trunking gateway. So trunking gateway connected through the SBC, then it needs to implement the load balancing for outbound calls. So we need to set the IP address of the RSBC to 192.168.100 and 172.16.0.100. The IPs of the trunking gateway are using this one, 1.101 and 1.102. The IP addresses of the switches should be 172.16.0.102. And of course, here one requirement is that switch outbound callers are this number 612.02700. This is to the trunking gateway to implement the load balancing for outbound calls. So how are we going to configure this? So again, we can configure for peer-to-peer calls. One of the parties must be career group. So the switch needs to join the career group. We need to join the switch. You need to configure that. And after, we need to add the trunking gateway to the PBX group. Then configure the same port. You need to select the route that is corresponding to the PBX group. So including the load balancing, this is to implement those pooling of to implement the load balancing for outbound calls. Okay, so first we need to add the career group. Here we are adding this one. So um, we need to add, say for example, this is the number, right? 162.612.02700, and this is the host IP for this one. So switch IP. Then add a PBX group. So I would say I would name this one as TG group. I'm using two trunking gateway, and this is the IP addresses. Of course, you need to uh, includes the port number as well. And after that, you need to configure the inbound route and select the PBX group with the carrier PBX ending with the LB. So this is my indication that is using the load balancing. This one should use the load balancing. And these are the number rule as defined by the requirement. And click OK. After which, you need to configure the outbound rules. So outbound rules sent to NGN. This is the from